Life is both short and long. If you understand this, then you can win in the game of life. Imagine being 80 years old, reflecting on your life before passing away. Every little detail and significant events will come into your mind. You start contemplating the things you wished or the things you wanted to achieve. You start to remember things when you had not approached the beautiful woman because you hesitated to talk when you were young, or you not started writing your own book, a unique type of mindset and ideas. As you begin to comprehend that and you have numerous regrets, you realize that this is the only reality that every generation has faced, and this reality is death. So, life is a very short process. The average person nowadays lives around 20 years old. Compared our ancestors, when the average lifespan was approximately 35 and 40 years old, it has doubled. Yeah, that's a pretty good thing. But this element of life leading to significant change in the human thinking. The perception of life is being short terms from not fully experiencing it. Nowadays, the average person spends 3 to 6 hours per day on his phone, on scrolling social media. If you see your whole life, it's nearly 10 years, and you just wasted on social media. And you spend 20 years sleep. You just sleep 20 years. If we do the math, life is short. We don't live too much, but we live significantly more than our ancestors. And if we think about it deeply, peak years of a man starts at 30 and ends up at 50 if we put in the work. But that's a crucial point. If you don't put the work in, you will look like shit. But if you put the work in, that's when your peak years will come. So these years are the highlights of a man's life. But until the age of 18, you don't achieve too much. You don't really have significant things, like you can't do anything on your own. But after turning 18, you have the chance to enter the work society. And by the time you set everything in place, you will be like 30, 35. So life is a short process because many people do not truly live their lives. As you walk down the street and you observe people around you, you can see those people are like robots. They're not in the present moment, not completely there. They just walk like robots, but they're just mind shifting always, like think about all the different kind of things, and they not living their own lives. So this leads them to feel that time has flown by because, despite working every day, they lacked a purpose to live their life. Even if they find the purpose, they not really live their life every single day. They just live like fucking robots. This is a single method how you can make your life a little bit longer. And the method is to try to be in the present moment. Because if you consciously live, you feel like alive. And you just not see yourself as a fucking movie character. You actually live your life. You realize some things, feel the power of nature when you taste the quality of food. These moments when you can feel you are alive and be conscious with these moments every single day because these things will help you to live a longer life. So many people complain without realizing the most significant thing they can leverage in their whole life. They just passed away, but they didn't even accomplish anything useful. And it's very important to have a purpose in your life. As I said, it can help you live a meaningful life. Therefore, you will live in the present moment every single day because while you're doing your purpose activity, this can be anything. You will be in the flow. So you will be 100% on the present moment. So there's a phrase. I think that's a legendary quote. So we constantly face with many decisions, and I honestly think there are no such decision as good decision. And in our lives, we choose our regrets because that's the nature of life. It's like a trade-off. We can't have anything. We just choose a path and we have regrets because we didn't choose the other path. A straightforward example is going out for drinks with friends. By doing this, you sacrifice the next day, workout, and also recovery. And if you choose to go out with the friends, you just cut off the chance to achieving your goal is to build up your dream physique. But on the other hand, if you choose not to go out with them, you may regret missing out time with your friends. But the truth is, when you're lying on your deathbed, you wouldn't be thinking about whether you regretted hurting your friends' feelings because you didn't go out to drink them like fucking monkeys. You would more likely to feel shame because you didn't put your energy and focus on things what truly matter to you. Because if these things matter to you, this is what you need to do. These things will give you satisfaction in life. These things will constantly remember you to being better and better and better. We have one life and we don't live for others, we live for ourselves. Looking at different perspectives is extremely useful thing. There are countless of perspectives and I often think about in this way. For billions of years, humans lived on this earth. They constantly dying, but they died because they needed to ensure the best genetics are passed on. So whenever something bad happens to me, I just look at the sky and I start to visualize myself like a movie character and there's a camera next to me or up to me and I go further, seeing millions of stars, seeing the planets and observing that I am just a meaningless point in this whole universe. And my challenges is can be tough, but it's nothing compared to the human history, the evolution, suffer of all other peoples and creatures. So if you think about in this perspective, you will be like, fuck, life is actually a silly game. Because everyone has a unique purpose, but everyone also has an internal goal, has only one goal to survive and live for maybe 70 years. And we think we can shape something dramatically and try to appear significant by creating all these different type of buildings and remarkable things. Yet here we are on earth with our own reality and own memories, thoughts and experiences. We are remarkable creatures, but we are meaningless creatures. And people before they die, they always visualize their life like a fucking timeline, like a movie, how things happen to them. And we creating incredible things, but we pass away. And this give me the courage to actually make something happen because we will be die someday. And if we didn't live our own life, that's a huge mistake. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't allow you to drink every day or taking fucking drugs and all this shit. Because I don't think that's life either. But ironically, life is also long. Because throughout the human life, there's so much you can learn and master, reaching the highest level. However, despite taking about decades, it's important to consider that our decisions should not matter for long. It means that whatever you are, your ID, you have to start immediately. This helps you to progress faster. And if you fail, you can learn faster and aka you can have faster progress than everybody else because you have a thought like I want to start a business. Bam. You start the business the next day, and you do it for, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. You fail it, but you learn a lot of things about it. And the next thing, I want to become a fighter. Bam! Register immediately in the gym. You start do this thing for nearly 5 years, and if you fail it, another ID. And the ID is, on an average, it takes 12 years for an individual to become a millionaire with entrepreneurship, or not just entrepreneurship, but in this context, we will we will say entrepreneurship. But if you look at this scenario, you have a lot of time from the age of 18 if you start immediately to 45. But if you start to hesitate for years and just slowly trying to make things happen, but you didn't even put too much effort because you hesitate and all this shit, when you fail with your first ID, you will be 45 and you will be, fuck me, I waste so much time because I hesitate. So you don't have time to hesitate. You have so much time, but you have no time to hesitate because everyone rather be a millionaire, I think, in their 30s than later. And to achieve this, there must be no hesitation. And when an idea comes, you just think about it a little bit and just bam. So, do you have time to figure out the game of life? Yes, you absolutely have. You can figure out the game of life with a simple technique. Because I use that technique and I think unbelievable one. Because this technique give me years, honestly. This technique give me so much more time. Because the tactic is learning the mistake of, and not just learning the mistakes of the others, but learning in general. Because if you start to learning everything in your early years, you will learn so much thing about life in general, and you can avoid these shit things, and you just collect useful years, you know. You don't waste these years, and you can do with this time something more bigger, and you can put in your own improvement, the general idea, and planning about longer than a decade, or minimum a decade. And if you can take time to think about every certain scenario what you can face off, you will gonna be a dangerous man. In this modern world, nobody thinks in decades, you know. Everybody think, and I was, bro, I was in the scenario when I was 15 or something, and I was like, if I start this little business, or this, I'm gonna start learning this, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire by the age of 18. I was truly sure about that because everybody in that community said that, oh, you can be a millionaire with just one good investment, and oh, you can be a millionaire, but you need money to do that. That's the deal. You need to take it seriously, and you need to maybe a little bit strategize, but planning. Just keep building your own system. If you fail, you fail. The most important thing is just learning from your own mistakes and the mistakes of the others. There's an interesting saying often used by motivational trainers. I don't believe in that. I believe the motivational speaking is bullshit. But I heard it and I was, fuck, that's so common, but that's actually a useful thing. So the idea is to live every day as if it were your last day. You can have regrets, but you will avoid so many regrets. Because if you want to go and approach a woman, you will do it. If you know that will gonna be your last day, you won't gonna be go to her with shaky legs and all this shit, because you will be like, fuck, it doesn't matter either because that's my last day. So with this idea, you can win years, because as I said, you have no time to hesitation. You have time, but no time to hesitate. So if you live every day like if it were your last day, you just can pull the trigger, what I'm talking about, and just without hesitation, without regrets, you just do it. In the end of the journey, you will finish on top. Because remember, life long and short in the same time.